The AIDS 2018 conference, the world's largest meeting on a single health issue. Still on health matters, when a baby is born, it is the joy of the parents to welcome the male or female child into the world. But what if the baby is neither male nor female? For those who identify as a different gender that does not fall within these two forms, life becomes an uphill task right from the onset in an unforgiving society. It is time that is it time that a third gender was recognized? Our health reporter, Omo Nyango, spoke to, among others, James Karanja, formerly known as Mary Waithera, and files us this following report.
Many times when a baby is born, the first question asked is whether the baby is a boy or a girl. What if it is neither?
Basically, when I'm asked to introduce myself, I think that is the biggest handle I have in my life because I've been brought up as a female, identifying as Mary Waithera. Um, Currently, I'm James Karanja.
27-year-old James Karanja takes us through his experience from birth through childhood, adolescence and adulthood, and how he has dealt with being different.
When I was born, as usual, everyone ran between my legs to see whether they would tell whether I was a boy or a girl. But I think it was a big shock to them because even doctors could not ascertain whether I was a female or a male. From onset, they believed that I was a curse. My mother's marriage broke, and so my grandmother said I can be named after her because doctors advised that it was important I be brought up in a female's role. Due to that, to my condition and my grandmother trying so much hard to explain, I was not baptized. The priest refused because they said they cannot baptize someone who they don't know who, whether it's she or he.
Karanja's growing up as a girl was dramatic. He hated the house chores and was clumsy as any boy could be with kitchen utensils. However, he was excellent in plowing the land, chopping wood and ferrying sacks on his back.
So when she would send me firewood, I wouldn't carry firewood, I would carry logs. So every time there was this conflict between me and her. But I was young, I never knew what was wrong with me.
It was no surprise thereby when he joined a girls' high school that he completely felt out of place.
And I always remember the first day that everybody in school, that was in Kambala Girls High School, everybody came to see this girl who looks like a boy.
The teachers believed in his authority, hence made him a prefect throughout his high school life. This position gave him the privilege to bathe privately and at his own pace. He couldn't share bathrooms with other girls and shied off while dressing in their presence.
From the first day, I woke up at 3 a.m. to take shower. I don't know what was driving me because at that time, you would have asked me whom I was. I still believed that I was a girl. But basically, my biological, my physical appearance was so different from the others because I never had breasts, and when other girls were complaining like they have cramps, for me, I never had. So anytime I would take a lot of beans and have this constipation, for me it was like, there it goes. I'm having cramps like any other girl.
His turning point came in Form 3 when he was suspended from school for allegedly introducing lesbianism in school.
Because initially from Form 2, I used to receive a lot of love letters from girls, from my fellow classmates, girls in school, schoolmates, that is, and even other schools. I used to receive a lot of love letters, even from neighboring schools. So for me, I don't know what I was thinking, but I never replied. So by coincidence, one day when I was in Form 4, my class teacher saw these messages, and I was sent away from school because teachers believed that I was instigating lesbianism in school. And so the whole of Form 4, I was not in school.
Karanja is an intersex, one of the rare disorders of sexual development that affects 1 in 2,000 babies and is associated with shame and secrecy, as most people have little or no knowledge about it. Dr. Renson Muhwana, a pediatrician and an endocrinologist at Gertrude's Children's Hospitals, explain.
Some people look at them as having both genitals, but it's not clear whether it is male or female.
Dr. Muhwana adds that myths and misinformation surround the condition, whereas other groups like cross-dressers and homosexuals may be due to personal reasons. Being intersex is not.
When a baby is born with ambiguous genitalia, some people may believe that that is transgender. No, it's not, okay? You are just born with genitals that cannot be well defined as male or female in a society that overwhelmingly has looked at those two sex divisions. You're either male or you're female.
A debate is now raging on whether it is time that the world embrace the third gender.
We cannot necessarily say that we are ready to have a third gender because society still views them from a different perspective, okay? That they may not necessarily fit in what the society knows.
An intervention that has divided opinion of the main stakeholders, the patients and the specialists.
Surgery should never be done in a hurry. Surgery is a last option, okay? In fact, there's a lot of debate about surgery in some of the genital ambiguity cases. Do you want to rush with surgery? Sometimes we do that, but with a poor outcome. Sometimes we are better off waiting until the child is older. Okay?
As it is with many medical conditions, stigma should be also dealt with lest suicidal thoughts crop in.
It's my mom who had a huge psychological problem to a point that she lost her memory due to acute depression because she could not explain to the society. We expected Waithera to be a woman. Now Waithera is becoming a man. Why? And there was also this rejection from the Raja family.
Get to see a doctor, have your talk therapy, have your treatment if it's required, have a psychologist or a psychiatrist seeing you. After that, we will do the family sessions. The other social aspect will be taken care of around you. But as of dealing with the whole world, that's a bit too much to ask.
Dr. Mukwana's advice to parents who may have such children is...
But I want to assure Kenyans that we now have experts, okay, to take care of these children. Please don't hide them. If you see anything that is abnormal, go to the nearest pediatrician. Go to the nearest hospital. Ask them you want to see the nearest pediatrician so that issues are sorted out as early as possible.
James Karanja has now started a non-governmental organization called the Intersex Person Society of Kenya to offer psychosocial support to parents with intersex children and intersex adults.
As the Intersex Person Society of Kenya are advocating, is calling out all intersex members or anyone who is an intersex person, stand up and demand your rights.
Having been in a relationship for over 3 years, he has plans on having a family very soon.
Very soon.
Is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible. You see, for I, as James Karanja, to stand out in public and tell them that I am a male, brought up in the wrong role, then I must have a backing evidence. Yes, I am a man.
For James, the last time he stepped out of high school was the last time he wore a dress. And as expected, he doesn't miss being a girl at any point. You cannot begin to imagine what life is like when you know you're a man, but everyone else believes you're a female. Omonyango, reporting for Talk Health on KUTV, Nairobi.